So I came across this video from a pastor that I respect, and well, let's watch the video. I think I'll bring my take after it.
There's been clamoring by America that they are killing Christians in Nigeria. Okay, it is not innocent. When Goodluck Jonathan was in power, Nigeria needed to buy certain things to use in fighting that battle. The one who blocked us was America. We got machineries from a country, I don't want to mention that country, that was busy, and they were having victories in Sambisa, all the places. The one who asked them to be sacked later was America. They are showing interest because they know that will divide the country. Then they can come in. Anywhere they step bonds. Any country that is richer than, in terms of mineral resources, than any country in Africa, it is Venezuela. Anywhere there is wealth, bonds. Be careful so that less they seem to be bringing help, but the idea is to penetrate and keep you pounded. There are countries that once they complain about your country, you are doing something right.
Well, when you hear everything he said, it seems like it's true, right? But there's so many truths that we're not revealing. This is submission. Probably you might say, okay, well, it was so short and everything, but in this submission lies the actual problem of Nigeria. Half-truths. We're not telling ourselves the truth. We're not tackling issues from the root cause. You heard Pastor Lazarus say when Jonathan was needed to buy some things, that is buy ammunition, America blocked us from buying these ammunition. What he failed to tell Nigerians, especially his audience, is this: that a certain set of Nigerians were clamoring and were antagonizing the then Jonathan's government that made America pay attention to their cries and refuse to sell these arms to Nigeria. He said subsequently that mercenaries were doing the job of taking out these terrorists. True. Who brought these mercenaries in? Jonathan. Why did Jonathan bring in these mercenaries? Because some certain people had caused America to blacklist Nigeria from getting arms. Jonathan had to hire mercenaries to come in to do the hard work. And these mercenaries were stopped from continuing their job, not under Jonathan, but under Buhari. He failed to mention that also, that it was under Buhari that these mercenaries were stopped from continuing their job. And who brought in the Buhari's government to power? On whose back did the Buhari's government rise to power? The Buhari government rose to power on the back of the Americans, led by Barack Obama. So what he's failing to tell Nigerians in this his video, or in this his in what he has been saying, is simple. He has failed to call those that actively played a part in making Nigeria being blacklisted, that played politics with the lives of Nigerians. And those people are the current people occupying power in Nigeria today. So this is my problem with his submission and with pastors that tell their people have truth. Pastors that are scared of telling the truth as it seems. The truth is that the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government, the APC government in power today, single-handedly orchestrated, single-handedly championed the pushing out of rhetorics to the Western media, the pushing out of rhetorics to the Western powers that made things very difficult for the Jonathan administration. America did not just rise up and say, we're not going to sell arms to Nigeria. Something happened. Pastor Lazarus, why didn't you say that thing that happened? America did not just wake up and stop and told Nigerians to stop the mercenaries from taking out Boko Haram. Something happened. Why didn't you tell Nigerians what really happened? Now let's listen to the mercenaries.
The incoming President Buhari was heavily supported by a foreign government, and one of the first missions was to terminate our contract.
Could you name that foreign government?
Yes, we were told it was the United States, and they had actually funded President Buhari's campaign. The campaign manager for President Buhari came from the US, and I'm not saying that the United States is bad. I understand foreign interests, but I would have thought that a threat such as Boko Haram on the integrity of the state of Nigeria ought to be actually a priority. It was.
Why do you think the US would intervene to abort such operation?
Again, I can't answer that. I think that the US can answer, but what I've come to realize that is when a foreign interests clash with the state's own domestic interests, conflict is bound to ensue. And those conflicts usually just continue with no end. And we can look at all the conflicts in Africa where foreign forces have come in, they've prolonged those conflicts, they haven't ended those conflicts. And the amount of money and manpower and equipment thrown at those conflicts says to me that something is wrong if no end result is achieved. And surely that end result should be to end the conflict and establish a basis for negotiations, come to an agreement, and then re-establish governance. But that's not what's happening in Africa.
How much did you charge the Nigerian government?
Well, first of all, we didn't charge the Nigerian government. And I think here that is a question the Nigerian government can answer. We were one subcontractor. So in other words, the Nigerian government appointed a contractor and we contracted to that contractor as their subcontractor. So I think that's all I'll say. If you're really interested in the figures, that's for the Nigerian government to discuss.
You know that the people that listen to you are the young Nigerians that do not even do research for themselves. Young Nigerians that probably were not even tech savvy or information savvy when these events were happening. And they will just follow your half-truth, hook, line, and sinker and run with it. This is exactly the propaganda the APC government will give out. Oh, anywhere America go, there is. Everywhere America go, there is. Forgetting that active Nigerians played a role in making America active in our politics today. This was actually an APC chieftain prior to the elections in 2015. Listen.
And you came just to make sure that they arrest President Jonathan. But why is he not arrested in Nigeria? Why is it that America has to do it?
Because he has immunity. And the American government went to arrest Noriega from Nicaragua. So it's easier for them now he's here. So let them just arrest him here. And you know, you can even arrest a governor in Nigeria. They have immunity. But in America, he has no immunity. And I pray they will arrest him.
And you want him jailed here or take him back to Nigeria to be tried?
Well, I would want him to be jailed anywhere. First of all, to be tried. I would want him to be tried. And if he's found not guilty, he should be acquitted and discharged. But if he's found guilty, I would want him to spend the prison time in Kirikiri.
Nigeria.
And those same people are occupying power today. Forgetting also that during Trump's first tenure, Trump listed Nigeria under the CPC, which was the countries of particular concern. And when the same Obama-Biden regime that played the active role of making sure that we could not take out Boko Haram and played an active role in bringing APC to power. In fact, I say this boldly that APC is a creation of the Obama Democrat Party. And the same, and if you're doubting it, Trump made Nigeria a CPC in his first term. Biden came in and took Nigeria out of the CPC list. It was not like Nigerians were no longer being unalived. It was not like Boko Haram had been contained. It was not like we have not had insecurity tripled. But the Biden administration came in and took us from the CPC. Why? Because the Buhari's government had come in and do what they asked them to do, which was what? Take out the mercenaries, allow terrorism thrive in the country. And Trump have come in again in his second term and has listed us in the CPC country as a CPC country. In the CPC list, sorry. And you're now trying to paint a picture as if it is just America, forgetting that these are different regimes, different leaders in America that play different roles in Nigeria today. I expect people like Pastor Lazarus to be calling out the Nigerian government and telling them, why are you guys not containing this terrorism? Why are you silent? Why Nigerians have been unalived across the country? The job of pastoring or pastors, or like if you look at the prophets in the Bible, was holding leaders accountable. Today we have pastors that are doing the bidding of leaders, of the bidding of incompetent leaders. We should be careful of Trump coming to Nigeria like Trump wants to come to Nigeria. Trump has told Nigerian government, fix insecurity. If you fix insecurity, he has no business coming here. I expect Pastor Lazarus should be on his pulpit telling Tinubu, fix insecurity, stop insecurity, get Nigeria working again. And if you do that, Trump has no business coming here. If you can stop insecurity, and then we'll now see if Trump wants to come and invade Nigeria. Tinubu, stop insecurity tomorrow. And let's see whether truly Trump is coming for our resources. You use Venezuela as an example. Go and look at how Venezuelans are. You talk about resources as if Nigerians haven't benefited from the resources. You guys stay silent while this government is running this country underground, and when we see like a semblance of hope or calling them to power, you now try to bring in caution and try to stoke fear into the populace like we do not think. The days of you guys doing these things are numbered. If you can't speak truth to power, stay silent. But do not deceive Nigerians, because many Nigerians wake up and speak against the truth or the half-truths you guys are speaking out. Somebody should send this to Lazarus. Somebody should send this to Pastor Femi, right? Femi Lazarus, please. He needs to listen to this. Thank you.